Good afternoon, Shaggy SoCal. Too old for Forza, and time for the second track guide for next week's races in this 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, I believe is the correct Italian, though I don't know, could be wrong. But it is Grand Oak National Circuit, so it's the other new fantasy track that Forza introduced in this iteration of their motorsport franchise. So, like any track guide, I'm going to go run some laps, just kind of refamiliarize myself, maybe talk a little bit about the track, then do the kind of the slower track walk where I kind of point out what I'm looking for, um, braking, turning in, what I think the car likes, things to maybe to watch out for, and then do a test race just to kind of validate what I think the race length will be on Thursday. That'll help sort out tire strategies as far as what I might try and do on Thursday, but also gives me a little bit of traffic to try and work through as well. So with that, let's get started with the laps. I'm on medium tires, 50% fuel, and let's see what we can do as I do the invisible fist bump to the, I must have John Cena on my pit crew there. All right. So Grand Oak, again, fantasy track. It's kind of that mix of elements that we've seen in Maple Valley, a little bit of Lime Rock, but it's really wide. I do like this track. I think they did a very good job with it. We'll do just kind of an out warm up lap here. Right, just there. Out. Gonna look for this track. Dirt patches at the apex. Well, the dirt patches help guide you to where the apexes are. So in most of the corners, maybe not that one. Long backs, somewhat long back straight. Tempting place to set up passes, but also easy place to, if you're getting past, to set up a crossover on exit. Up the hill under the M. And a third, second if I get the braking wrong. Inside, I'm going to brake here. Just hug the inside. Look for the second set of dirt patches right there. Roll back into the throttle. Use the exit curbing. Take out the little marker. Can we go for just about flat out through there? I did give a little confidence lift. Brake at the flag, downshift. Still turning. I think I'm still turning in early there. I got to figure that out. Up third here. Then down to second. Brake at the end of the tire barriers. Dive it in there. Roll it out. Gentle on the throttle. Not a lot of help on exit with the back tires. Using the owner sign to kind of gauge my braking point there. Most of the curbing is very kind to this car. I think where you just have to be careful is apex curbing in the higher speed corners. A little bit there, so just feather the throttle, roll back into it. We'll do one more flyer and then we'll do the track walk. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. We'll have to keep playing around with that one. Third gear out wide, down to second. Dirt patch. Patch there, roll in, short shift third. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Slowly roll into the throttle. That was all right. Last couple of corners. Push, 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 push. Can we go full throttle? Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to do that every lap. But that's again high speed. You hit the apex there, you can see it pitch the car. It pitched the car out. If you're running traction control and you do that, it's probably going to kill your speed because then it's not going to let the rear tires kind of spin and kind of hold that slide. But anyhow, that's a whole other discussion. So let's do the slow track walk. So I'm in fifth gear, heading down the front straightaway. What I'm looking for turn in on one, and I'll talk about what I just learned on the last flyer that we'll see if it works when I do the test race. For me, I'm looking at the American flag there. As that's going out of view, that's where I'm going to get on the brakes. And for me it's a cadence. Like I'm going to brake first and then downshift. I'm not going to immediately put it into fourth. Again, I don't want to do anything that's going to bury the rev limiter. Bury the engine in the rev limiter for any length of time. Just because it can bind the rear of the car up a little bit, makes it a little bit tougher. When you're trying to release the brakes and you want to turn in, but the back is still kind of freaking out because you've pegged the engine in the rev limit. So I'll brake first, then drop it to uh, to fourth. Now, what I was doing earlier, where I was saying I was turning in early, is I was using the outside curbing here, this point as kind of my turn-in point, and it was putting me in early. What I just learned, and I'm going to keep trying it to make sure it works, is actually holding it parallel a little bit longer and starting the turn in as I go under the Mirage sign. Mirage sign? Is it a Mirage? Yes, West Mirage. So as I pass under that sign there, that's where, you release, roll the car in. Now, the apex for me, and I'll stop it here, the apex that I'm aiming for, and even here in this, I'm probably a little bit early in. I probably want to be a little bit out wider, a little bit more angled. Is I'm using the scoring pylon and then the light pole to the right of it. That's kind of right about where the apex of this corner is, at least from my perception. So ultimately, that's as I turn in, I'm going to try and get the car to the curbing as I pass by that. And then it's just kind of balancing the throttle out. There's not much banking. You're going to be crossing over the crown of the road. The risk this here is, again, it's a fourth gear, it's a high speed turn one. On the exit, you want to carry as much speed out, but what you want to try to avoid doing is being in a situation where you're still turning and the car's going off into the curbing. Because again, you get on the curbing, you get off the main course. You'll lose grip on the right side. It might spin the tires up. It might get out of control. We'll see. I haven't seen anybody hit that and then have the car just immediately hook left. But ideally, for me, it's like, oh, we'll see how I do in the race. I mean, ideally, I'm not even coming out all the way to the edge. I'm actually trying to be kind of off a little more here, and it's mainly because I'm thinking about the next set of corners. Um, but I would say at worst, you can probably be out here and still be okay if you get your braking rate for the next corner. Um, Still fourth gear. Now, what I was using early is, for me, the braking point that I was using is really where the pit exit lane goes from a solid white line to a dotted line. Um, I'm gonna be playing around with, like, and again, the timing loop marker helps but doesn't help, but it'll probably be a timing thing. Like once it changes to the dotted line, then for me it just might be like, okay, pass, and it might be like a breath and then brake. I won't brake right where it changes, but I might brake just a moment past it, maybe 2 moments past it. It's more like an internal rhythm kind of cadence as far as when I brake, because there's really no other definitive breaking point. I don't think the blue ends to the Armco is probably a little too far up. Maybe on soft tires I can brake that late and then still make the next set of corners, but that's part of why I practice. Fourth gear, brake, 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 brake down. Not really on the inside there. I'm going to let the car be about the middle of the track. Third gear. And what I'm looking for is I'm keeping my eyes to the inside. You can see that first, dirt patch there. It's the second one that's just, at the apex or just past the apex of this corner. Because this is if you look at the track map, it's a kind of a more than 90 degrees. So it's a kind of, I don't know if it's technically a decreasing radius, but it's a lot sharper of a turn than you think it is. So this one, I do want to be out a little bit wide and trying to late apex it. Um, it's just kind of the weird line I'm going to take through these next couple of corners. But I'm looking for this inside dirt patch here. Probably drop it to second, get the car down to it, and kind of lining up. That what I'm looking for is the first thing I'm spotting is the end of the tires next to the Armco. You can kind of see the light pole, but that's kind of where I'm aiming a little bit. Well, aiming a little bit to the right of it. But as I come out, I want to angle out so that I'm gonna be going straight diving into the next corner. Second gear, the braking point, maybe third, it depends on my mood. The braking point that I'm looking for is as the tire barrier goes out of view. Because I might be on full throttle at this point trying to get as much speed as I can. But as soon as that tire bundle goes out of view, it's brake, brake, brake. Second or third gear, I don't know. I think it's kind of back to my old, do you want the car on its toes or on its heels? A little bit, um, if you do it in second, you'll be a little bit slower getting in, but the car will have a better turn in, and then you'll short shift to third between the exit of this corner and the next one. If you do it in third, just make sure you get your braking, solid so that you're not really, really pushing wide. The nice thing is that we do have a bit of banking help here into this corner. So again, I'm going to get on the dirt patch. And this is the confidence thing for me. Ideally, I'd love to be able to get the car almost all the way out to the right side to set up, to kind of open up the next corner. But it's so easy then if you get the angle wrong or like that to go off into the dirt. So I'm probably gonna hedge my bets, and as the race wears on, there'll be a more defined rubber in line. So I'll probably just stick to that. But second gear here, as soon as you kind of get the car out, and just before I really commit to the turn in for the next one, I'll probably short shift it to third, and then it's just kind of balancing the throttle through here, and then hit the apex. And as you're coming out, depending on the angle, you play around with getting back to full throttle. Again, I'd be careful trying to immediately. If you have TCS on, stab the throttle. You're fine. The TCS will keep the rear tires in check. If you're not running TCS, roll into the throttle. Just be aware that as you crest this hill, if you still have a little bit of steering, you might feel the back end just step out slightly. Shouldn't be enough where it sends the car sideways unless you really hammer the throttle and you don't have traction control on it. Speaking of, let me get down to second gear. So out, down the back stretch. The line is up to you. We do have a little bit of a kink here as you start going down the hill. So if you want to bring the car into the middle and let it just naturally come back up to the outside, that's up to you. If you want to follow the outside, you can. Again, this is where sometimes I think this is a little too wide. It's too many options, but this corner is, again, if you get a good run out of the previous corner, this is a great place if you want to try and set up a pass. Historically for me, I find that if I try to pass somebody, like outbrake somebody and pass them into this corner, I'm just going to get crossed over and they're going to get me back on exit. So it's going to be fun. If the racing here should be good with this car in this corner. Just be aware, if you take a shot at somebody on the inside, they're going to look for the crossover on exit. But for me, I'll try and have it out as wide as I can, trying to not get on the curb. The owner's advertisement banner here is about what I'm using to kind of gauge where I'm braking. So the tire compound I'm on will dictate, how close to this do I get? Do I, almost out of view, partially out of view, fully in view, but that's what I'm using for the braking. Brake, 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 brake. I think down to third gear. And again, my eyes are going to be up trying to look at, at the turn in point. It is probably going to be close to the end of the curbing on the outside. Roll it in, third gear. Um, this one, again, what I was talking about earlier, it's like the most of the curbing here is not hazardous to the car. There's just a couple of places, apex curbing, where you're carrying decent speed through the corner can upset the car because it'll bounce the inside of the car up, and that might be enough to then have it slide sideways on the way out. So this one, you know, get on the curb at your own risk. Just know that if you do, it is enough of a curb that it will lift the inside tires off the ground a little bit. Um, so there on the way out, go ahead. You can use as much of this exit curbing as you can to go up the hill. And for me, the line I take as I'm cresting the hill is just to have the car pass under the M, because that usually puts me on that nice line that gets me back to the left side of the track, right where I need it to be for the next braking, which is right where that curbing goes out of view. It might be, at least hard and medium is probably there. Soft tires may be for me a little bit closer to the start of the next curbing, but it's in between. At least for me, the braking is definitely in between where that curb ends and where that curb starts. So that's what I'm looking for as I'm cresting the hill and getting ready to set up for braking. Fourth gear at this point, brake, 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 down to third, second if you get it wrong. And again, I'm just going to follow the line in, get a little help from the banking on the way into the apex. Not a lot of help as it flattens out on the exit. Now this one, I've talked about in the past where, you're talking combination corners and what's more important. And this one, I tend to just say, we're hit the last corner. It's this nice long, almost the last corner. It's almost like a nice long hairpin, 180-degree corner. This one, I'm not gonna try to compromise the exit and be in mid-track to set up for this next one. For me, at least, I'm most comfortable just letting the car go all the way out here to the left side, hugging the curbs, and just holding it here. When I get to the end of this curb, this is where I'm going to brake, third gear, and I'm just going to hold the inside. And what I'm looking for, because it does tighten up a little bit, I think, on the second half of this, but I'm looking for these next two patches of dirt. This one, and more importantly, the end of this one and the next one. This is about, at this point, we're starting to exit the corner. We're past the apex. I'm going to look to start rolling back into the throttle to let the car, and then let the car come all the way out to the right side. So no traction control. I do have to be careful how much throttle I'm giving it. You saw in the demo laps where I can spin the rear tires up and have the back end kick out. But I will come out and I will cross over onto this curbing. Ideally, I probably would want to straddle it about here. I don't want to go, because I think you can. Yeah, I mean, that's where it'll go off track. But at that point, I'm threatening to put tires in the grass. So here I'll probably just straddle the white line, or about here, and then just hold this all the way down, keeping my eyes to the inside here. Again, the further ahead I can look and see where I want to put the car, the better I'll do at it. But the turn in for the final corner, at least, well, not at least, the turn in for the final corner is going to be where this blue and white curbing ends. So I'll bring it off the curbing. Depending on the tire compound, depending on what the car decides it wants to do, I may, just crack the throttle a little bit just to take some of the torque out of the rear tires. I think on the mediums and the softs, you can probably do this flat. The hards, I'm not sure yet. I haven't run enough laps to know. Ideally, I don't want to. Can you get on this curbing? Yes, you saw in the demo laps. Just be careful how you hit it. If you're not running traction control, the back end may step out, and you may have to do a little correction. You may have to just crack the throttle a little bit just to help keep the back in line. If you're running traction control and you hit it, depending on how severely the back end steps out, if TCS kicks in, it's going to kill your speed. That's one of those, I like TCS as just kind of, to help make sure that, I don't completely lose the back of the car, but I don't want to start relying on it all the time, especially when there's lateral loads. You don't want TCS trying to stop the back from stepping out, because that will kill your momentum. And especially at a course like this, people are just going to be able, you'll just set up and allow somebody to get a run and pass you into turn one. But ideally, if I do it right, I'll flirt with the curb, but maybe use the dirt patch as the apex. Let the car go all the way out. Probably cross over, much like it done on the final turn, cross over here. But I think let's see where track limits kicks back in, because I think it's right. It kicks back in as soon as we hit the end of this curb. Oh, maybe not. There it goes. Yeah. So usually, if I'm going to cross over and get on the exit curbing there, it's just long enough. Get the car set, and then I'll start. Just ease it back onto the track before I get to start finish and set up for the next lap. But that's Grand Oak. It's a nice track. I do like this one. So with that, let's find out what we're going to do for the race, and at least get an idea. And quick race there. And I just want to check something really quick. Okay. I need to get out of this, and let's start setting up for the race. So advanced setup, alpha, load options. Okay, so circuit race, we are at Grand Oak, we are at the National Circuit. How many laps do we think we're going to do here? 22. We'll run 22 and see how long it takes. Starting time of day random, roll in for dynamic track rubber 20%. Weather is random. Again, I will not run in rain for my practice. Still doing a half-second delay for everybody. That's fine. 5x standing PI off. 1 mandatory pit stop. We're probably going to make 2. But let's go ahead and accept that. And what do we get? Watch, night thunderstorms. It seems Forza likes to give me fog and haze today. Probably heard me complain about rain enough. It's like fine. Patchy fog 22 laps. Okay, so let's talk about tire wear. Grand Oak, 60% roughly for soft, medium, hard on laps 5, 7, and 10. And we're talking low to mid 60s on the medium and hard compound by the end of those laps. The softs are almost at 70. So, good. It might be one of those. I might say 5 laps, but it's like maybe really 4. Again, for us on the wheel users, we'll probably get slightly better. We might get slightly better tire wear, and again, the conditions will play into it as well. So, with that, let's see again, because I hate doing tire strategies, but 22 laps. Obviously, I can't do it on one stop, because even if it's a medium hard, that's 17. That's still 17, 18, that's 5 laps. That's 5 laps short. So it is a 2-stopper, and it looks like, at least for this test race at 22 laps, I'll just run a full stint on each. So we'll start in the hards, go to the mediums, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and finish off on the softs, and just hopefully still have some tire left at the end of this race. So let's go ahead and set up for this. Car, fuel, and tire. Down to hard, 100%. Nope. We can drop that down. 53. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. And I'm not running traction control here. Again, for me, I prefer to run it as much as I can without TCS. Again, Laguna, I think, is going to be the exception, just nature of the track. Most of the other ones are like this, where they're wide, they're smooth. For the most part, the curbs won't try to kill you. But let's see what happens here. Take it easy on this first lap. Tires are still a little bit cold. Ooh, wasn't expecting that. Since I had the car to the outside, it didn't like immediately hit the throttle. I wanted to make sure I was clear of them, or at least have the car pointed straight, mostly straight. They have a handling advantage, but I have a speed advantage as I push wide in the final corner. A little bit wide out. Excuse me. Thing. I was a little bit wide of the apex there, so I just kind of take what I can get. And try to adjust for the next lap. Yeah, hard tires, I can't do it flat. So it's just a question of how much and then for how long do I need to crack that throttle to balance the car through the corner. So we'll see how we do on the next lap now that the tires are warmed up. A little bit early. Better. Ooh. I don't know. Maybe I should turn traction control on. Come on. Come on. Gentle, gentle. Just keep it here. Oh, I'm in last place. So there we go. This is why we practice. Excuse me. Definitely got to run, but not going to get to him before turn one. Again, that previous lap spin all happened because I went way wide and then got on the grass a little bit, so just being careful to roll back into the throttle once I know the car is straight. I'll go down to second since I'm on the inside and he's right there. Ooh, sorry, wasn't paying attention again. Probably the most difficult corner to get sorted. Was late, so I need to brake a little bit sooner there. God, I only have to run 3 more laps on these tires. Wow. That's a touring car turning advantage. Braking a little bit earlier because I'm not going to try and stick a pass right now. I wasn't close enough. Again, ideally for any passes under braking, I want to be alongside. I don't want to have a repeat of what I did to Weed at Mugello. I was in the vortex of danger. I thought I was a little bit further up than I actually was. But oops. Short shift up to fifth. I think the car's a little bit more comfortable. Oh, no, you don't. We are going. Yeah, we're going to pit this lap. For me, pit lane. I know the previous lap you saw a couple of the drivatars. They take the normal racing line out and they come back across. I don't know. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in, but generally, if I'm going to go into pit lane, I'm going to hold the inside. I'm just going to hold it a little bit longer. And that way, if someone's on, so that I'm in the pit lane proper. So that's 10 laps, and then we will do 7 laps on Zemedio. I should have plenty of fuel. All right, let's see where this spits us out at. We're going to be on the left side of the track heading into turn 2. Alright. Let's see if we can make up a couple more spots and not spin out. And the opening lap, still cold tires. The car's going to push a little bit more than it normally does. Should be up to temp, up to grip by the end of the year out lap. Just a little bit of a confidence lift. Be careful. Let me take a look. The touring cars are gonna outbrake me all day. Oh, sorry. Let's take a look. We'll be close enough. You were looking for the crossover. Denied. bit late there. It's the flag. It was a little unexpected. I'll take it though. Turned in a little bit early. Was not the best line through there. They gave me a 9.4 in the segment though. All right, let's go get the soft tires. Let's see if we can salvage a decent finish. I think braking just at the end of the dotted line on pit exit is a good braking reference on your pit out. Okay, let's see if I can get a couple positions here at the end. Almost flat, at least, you know, out lap, still a little cold. Let's see if we can do it flat next lap. Oh, it's nice having grip on corner exit. Okay, still a little bit late for that. Well, I couldn't find out that lap because I had to get past Snooty.
3 to go.
Still giving little confidence lifts on turn in. Nope, park it at the apex. No crossover for you. Not comfortable trying to do it flat.
Last lap. Push, 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 push.
Well, not bad. Top 10 after an unforced error. I'll take it. But that's Grand Oak, 30:48. So yeah, 21 laps is probably a little long. So it might be 19. Might even be 18 again, depending on bucket delays. But yeah, that's Grand Oak in the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. And yeah, I'll take a 10th place finish. So hope you guys having a good weekend, and we'll see you on Thursday. Happy racing.